Well, ain't that just the cutest little thing you ever saw? I mean, look at it. It's tiny. It's so tiny, it's a Spyderco Dragonfly. Let's have a look. But not just any Dragonfly. Oh no, this is the one in British Racing Green, the ZDP 189. Let's open this baby up. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at my hand. That is the ZDP 189. Now in the camera, doesn't really look like British Racing Green, but it is. You can see my attempt at blackening the pocket clip, and yeah, the blackening paint I used wasn't too good. But this is one tiny little knife. Whoops. Let's pick it back up. Yeah. So you can see there, got the Spyderco logo, the ZDP 189 laser print there, or the etching. You got Seki City, Japan there. Let's have a little look at what they give us. Okay, so this is our education. So let's talk a little bit about the actual steel and the blade steel as well, and the blade shape. Now, what we have here, according to Spyderco, is quite a special steel. It's ZDP 189. It's one of the knife industry's hottest, hardest, and highest performing knife steels today. Now, this steel comes from Hitachi out of Japan. So it comes in like little slabs of metal, which are then sold on to various places, and yeah, they then manufacture it and use it for what they need it to be used. Look at that edge, look at that relief edge. Ooh, look at that glint. Nice. So yeah, so basically this knife steel's been around for about 10 years. Like I said, made by Hitachi. Quality steel. Now 3% of its structure is pure carbon, and what that means is it makes the steel harder, and according to them in turn furthers its edge retention capacity, which I can vouch for. I've been using this this Dragonfly, I wouldn't say EDCing it, but I've been using it quite a bit for the best part of 5-6 months now. Hasn't been sharpened yet, so this is still the factory edge on it, and I have to say it's hair popping sharp, and I'll show you that, a demonstration in a minute. But this is according to them a high performance exotic steel, and yeah. Now the blade shape is Spyderco's traditional leaf spear point, almost leaf shaped blade. And it's a full flat ground there with an unsharpened swedge on the top. Now, the advantages of having the full flat ground is slicing capability. This thing slices like a mother. It goes through anything and everything fantastically well. The penetration capability, thanks to its rather delicate tip there, and it's a thin blade. And the penetration capability of this is fantastic. Again, I wouldn't go stabbing it into car doors or anything, but it is a very, very good penetrating blade. What would I use this for? Well, it's probably more along the lines of a EDC blade. This is a bit too small to be used in tactical use. I mean, you're not going to get much reach now out of this in terms of if you had to use it in that capability. I guess any knife can be, you know, pressed and used in that purpose. Now this makes a great EDC blade. Obviously here in the UK we can't use it as an EDC blade thanks to its locking capability, but it is fantastic in that purpose. It's quite comparable in size actually to the UK legal carry Spyderco Urban, which I do use every day. Now this is discontinued now. This is in VG10, which is not quite as high grade a steel as the ZDP 189, but yeah, but it is an absolutely gorgeous little knife. I love the way they've done that unsharpened swedge. It just sets it off so well. And like I've said, the slicing capability of this is fantastic. If I grab a sheet of paper and let's do a demonstration. Now, like I've mentioned, I haven't sharpened this since I got it, but oh yeah, oh look at that. Look, now that is what you call sharp. Let's see if I can. Let's see if we can do a little curve into here. Oh, yeah. So it's catching a bit, but super sharp even now. And I haven't sharpened this since I got it, so you can see a little bit catching, but perfect. In paper, you know, paper's never too good on blade steels anyway. Neither is cardboard, but it's absolutely stunning. And in terms of size, the blade, the cutting edge itself is, you know, just under 2 inches in length. Weight's about 1.2 ounces, I believe, which is very reasonable. Now, partially the reason why it's such a light carry weight is, let me see if I can show you inside. Okay, so if we have a little look at inside, we can see why it's got such a light weight. You have no liners. This is just 100% Zytel. Now, Zytel, for those who don't know, is just it's a type of plastic, kind of a polymer. Polymers are plastics at the end of the day. They're just a different type, but they're really hard wearing. And what you can see at the back is the lockup. This has got a real good lockup. So traditional Spyderco lockback design, and all that means is just clicks up, solid lockup, absolutely zero side to side there, zero up and down. I'm trying not to with my hands, but finding it difficult, and very easy control one-handed. So if you want to close it one-handed, you want to open it. Now, in terms of speed, not the quickest to deploy one-handed, purely because of its size. It's a little bit too small to get a grip. Now, with the Zytel handle, they've done a bi-directional pattern on here, and what that effectively means is that the way the handle's been imprinted, the ridges point that way and that way on opposite ends. So effectively, if your thumb, you try and push it forward on this side, it won't move that well, where if you slide it back, it moves back quite easily, and vice versa on here. If you try and slide it back, it won't grip, it won't go back as easy, and slide it forward, it will do. So what that effectively means is you've got you try and pull it out of the pocket, you get excellent traction on the blade, and when you're holding it this way, when you're working, your thumb isn't likely to slip, and that's kind of compounded by the fact that you've got these two awesome jimping jobs on the index finger choil and your thumb choil. So if we zoom in here and have a look, you can see that. Now that's incredibly sharp jimping. They've done a fantastic job. Your thumb grips in there, that ain't going nowhere, and the same with your index finger. It fits in there so well. I mean, it's just ergonomically fantastically designed, and for my large hands, that just fits in perfectly. My pinky just kind of rests against that. No hot point at all. The way the curve here is just works so well, and you can just kind of fit your hand on there and comfortably use this. Now, I've tried using this knife for 15 minutes of solid cutting carpet, and it worked perfectly, no problems whatsoever. And just the control you get with this is awesome, you know, with whatever you want to use it for. But it is such a good blade. And reverse use, sure, you can if you really want to. Again, your pinky just fits nicely into that choil. You could, I guess, use it in that respect. If you wanted to hold it like this, you could do, because you know your index finger fits nicely here, and then you've got some jimping on the actual body itself, so you can grip it. But to be fair, it's not the best grip there. It's a bit slip. Yeah, it's a bit slick. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Now let's have a look at the clip. The clip is Spyderco's traditional wire pocket clip. Now you can see my messed up job in trying to paint that myself using some hard enamel metal paint. Didn't stay on too well. Probably the best thing would be to Duracoat it, but I don't want to invest the time or the money in Duracoating my pocket clips. It's just too much effort. Now, Spyderco always do really good jobs with their pocket clip. This is a tough little pocket clip. That ain't going nowhere. When you get that on something, it's staying there. Effectively, if I try and slide it on here, let's see if I can try and get my arms around the camera. That's it, and you can see how much of it is actually fitting through, or how much of it you can see. Now you've got a decent sized lanyard hole there, just enough size to get a gutted paracord through. I tried getting a regular paracord through. You can get it. It's a tight squeeze, but a gutted paracord would go through there perfectly. But a knife this size, you don't really need a lanyard, and even there, you get just enough pulling that you can grip that quite well and pull it out, because that is just there. They've done an amazing job with the traction just there. So it fits in nicely, and like I said, you hardly see any of it. I mean, that's how much of the knife you see in this. Once this is blackened all the way, it's pretty much invisible. You don't notice that at all, which is a superb design by Spyderco. One hit I will give is it is positionable to both left and right hand carry, but not all four corners, which is no biggie because I always carry my knife tip up anyway. But for those people who do prefer to carry the knife tip down, they don't have that capability. Again, you could argue this is such a small knife, why not just shove it in your pocket? You don't even need the clip. A lot of knives this size don't come with a clip, and yeah, you're not really missing anything from that respect. One thing I will say is I've used this knife quite a bit. It is a durable little blade. It's strong, very, very strong, surprisingly strong. I wasn't too sure. I mean, I knew the blade steel is superb. I was worried I might chip it because ZDP 189 can be prone to chipping, but Spyderco seems to have done an excellent job with this, and it hasn't chipped at all. And also, the handle material itself, I thought to myself, just Zytel, no liners. Don't know. There's a, if you squeeze it, there's a little bit of flex, but this is not a hard use knife. You're not going to be using that much. I reckon this knife will last your lifetime. Easily last your lifetime. If you look after it well, just oil the blade so you don't get any rust spots. And with that kind of carbon content, you can develop a bit of rust on this blade, and you can see the grain of the structure there as well. And in terms of value, this knife cost me £78, thereabouts, which is quite a lot for a knife this size. But when you consider the Spyderco Urban, which is just a little bit, let me just focus in on it. The Spyderco Urban, which is just a little bit bigger, this was 100 quid, which is quite a bit more. And the only real difference is that you've got the G10 rather than the Zytel handle. So the G10 it gives you, good traction, not as good traction as the textured Zytel does though. And of course you've got VG10, which is an inferior steel to ZDP 189. So in many respects, when you compare it against something like the Spyderco Urban, this is super value. I've been carrying this for really, really long time, and I love this knife. And the only reason I carry this over the ZDP is because it's UK legal, and you can see that was blackened at one point, which has since come off. But one thing, it's a pinned construction, so you cannot take this knife apart. Oh no, wait, holy crap, it's not pinned construction at all. You can take it apart. I thought that, sorry. Yeah, it's a Torx head, so you can take the knife apart and service it. I possibly wouldn't. With lockback designs, it can be a bit finicky to put back together again, and I certainly haven't taken this apart, even though you can, because the spring in this would just be an absolute nightmare to put back together. And both of these are from Sekiseri, Japan. Here you can see Sal Glesser's logo. Here you don't have either's. I'm assuming with the blade design it's probably Sal's work. Maybe Eric's had a little bit of input into it. But this is just a cool little knife. I mean, Spyderco make awesome blades, and this is no exception. In fact, it's, a lot of people go, it's quite pricey for such a tiny blade, but you get a lot of capability from this little blade. And if you're in a lot of urban environments, when you whip something like this out, people don't really mind. You pull out yourself a big, even like the paramilitary 2 or the Manix 2, or even or pull something like zero tolerance 550 or something. People are not going to like it. You pull something like this out, they're all good. Nobody really cares. You'll still get the odd idiot who screams and runs away and calls the police on you, but what can you do? This is a cool little blade, high value, strongly recommended. I will have a link to the recommended retailer down below, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something small to carry with you every day, assuming obviously that you're allowed to carry a locking knife, I would strongly recommend this. This is awesome value. It will last you for years and years. Great blade steel, super tough, super sharp out of the box. A little bit difficult to sharpen, but it wouldn't be take your time, get yourself a Spyderco sharp maker or one of the good quality sharp knife sharpeners, and spend a bit of time, and you'll get a really good job on the blade. And it comes with a superb relief edge on there that you can see just glinting. Like I've already mentioned, very ergonomic, very good to use, superb little knife. Highly recommend this. That's a 5-minute review. Over and out.